Sylvia K Guernsey Shipwreck. I'm JP Fallais, and this is the channel where we take you along for a dive. It's actually pretty cold today, but we'll have to see how we get on. Wind's dropped down, it's about 11 degrees, and the harbour seems empty. So you know it's a nice day when the harbour's empty. There's just a boat down there, Brushy, sorting his crab out to go on the ferry tonight to go across to France to hit their markets. So what are we doing today? Are we doing a shipwreck or are we doing scallops? We're probably going to do a bit of both. We'll have to see what happens. Richard's out at the moment dropping some pots off to clear the boat for us for our dive gear. So we better go and get ready. I'll catch you down there. Here comes Sylvia. Just around the pier heads now. So Richard's been out and dropping his pots off. And he's going to come in and pick up 2 of his divers to go diving. Can't wait.
That was clever, right? There it is, look.
The size of that. That's a beast.
The boat's going out. He'd have filmed that alright, and he's going splash. The spider I can get out the bag.
Here's Jeff shocking away.
Yeah, Ben was telling me the other day.
Quick, ain't you? How many have you done?
I don't know what to say. Somebody actually asked me that the other day, and I could work out roughly the bottles I've done, but I couldn't work out how many scallops, obviously.
Millions. Probably 2 million.
Ah. Wouldn't even like to guess. Your plum in the hole?
That's it, he's going to take his 1.7 tonne of crab over to the jetty over the other side to go on the ferry tonight. Someone in France will be eating that. Where are we going, Richard?
We're going to Fermain. I thought somewhere, you know, somewhere we haven't been for at least a week.
Looking forward to it?
Hopefully it's better than it was last time.
Friday afternoon, eh?
Well, you know, got to make the most of these Friday afternoons.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looked good on the video. The video looked good.
And that's my setup.
Welcome back to Below the Sea. I'm JP Falaise and my dive buddy today is Matt Lemaitre. When I say dive buddy, just someone I've gone in the water with, because we don't tend to dive with anyone really. Sort of self-reliant. That's why we carry pony bottles. So viz, if you haven't noticed, is pretty poor today. So we've been battling against the weather for the last few weeks. We've had some bad winds from bad directions, to be honest, so we're just trying to make the most of it. It doesn't help though when I've got my torches on, but if I didn't have my torches on it'd be pretty lifeless. A horrible colour of dark green. So bear with me, we'll keep the lights on. We'll have a look at some of these reefs. Not particularly nice looking reefs, to be honest. It's now the end of the summer and there's no lights getting down to this depth, so it's all died off now. So I need to get out of this dust cloud now that Matt's just created for me. Not the end of the world, but we need to start getting down into some deeper water and head off for a scallop. Notice when I grab the scallops, they all notice me, they see me with their 200 plus eyes, and what they do is they tend to purge a load of the water they got in their mouth to close up, so whatever's trying to attack them doesn't attack them. Alright, what we got here? Some spider crabs, a bit early in the year. Normally that sort of shenanigans is normally in May, but hey ho, who am I to say when they should be doing it? So typical bottom really, fairly gravelly, some pebbles around here. Believe it or not, this is quite easy to notice scallops in this, and every so often you'll probably see some on the surface. Again, close to some people at harbour, loads of sherds. So this is a bit of pottery, it's called a sherd rather than a shard. Get a shard of glass or a sherd of pottery. Nothing on it, so I'll throw it back. It's actually struggling to get my eyes to adjust at this depth because it's almost, I don't want to turn my lights off, but I really should do. Look at this for camo. It's even got shells and all sorts on his back. Pretty cool. So this you get it's quite often this is a scallop that's swum out of its burrow, if they're called burrows, swum out the hole it's made and trying to swim away. And some small ones. It's always good. It's always good to notice there is actually loads of small ones. So even though we take quite a few, there's always more. And we dive the same locations year in, year out. Very sustainable. We're not the only divers. There's loads of other divers that do it as well. So, and we, between us all, we seem to manage it quite well. Look at this. They're weird, these crabs. They always remind me of a fisherman saying, "Oh, you should have seen the size of the fish I caught. It was this size." Pretty cool. There's thousands of them. Looks like Rich has put me and Matt onto a really good spot here. Might not look it, but it is. Definitely a good spot. You can tell no one's been here for a while because the ratio of the larger to the smaller seems to be on the largers. So quite happy with this. I can quite happily go along and pick a scallop up every couple of meters. Again, always look around this debris. This is like an old mooring rope of some sort. Not quite sure why it's here. Could have been off of one of the firm-main moorings, or could potentially just been chucked out the back of a boat, but always check around these because there tends to be scallops hidden in. Like, yeah, this one's too small. Another one of these long leg spider crabs, and there's another decent sized one. I can hear Matt shout for me, so I better go and see what's up with him. Very simple issue. Just one hose is over the other hose. It seems like a minor issue, and it's like, well, I can dive with it, but it's actually quite awkward because you can't really turn your head as left as much as you normally could. And believe me, a tiny little difference in your setup, and you really do notice it. It's good to actually be able to notice stuff that was wrong with your gear. So I just quickly swapped it over for him. You notice Matt's bag's half full already. I've only got about 4. I better pull my finger out. He's getting some nice ones as well. Nope, that's not a scallop. It's just a stone. So what makes a perfect dive for scalloping? Well, the thing you do really need is, you can see Matt's working quite hard. He's not swimming into the tide, it's just there's no tide. So we started off this dive with a small trickle north, but it just isn't enough. So what we tend to do is we tend to head out, which is normally a little bit deeper, or we just wait for a little bit for the tide to turn. Hopefully it does turn. Does 2 things. Oh, that one's too small. Would have put that one back. 2 things, really, good viz and decent amount of tide, just to help you along, because believe me, you do get tired dragging a 25-30 kilo bag around with you. So some of them do actually look like scallops when you glance at them very quickly, and then you go to grab them and it's just an empty shell, or 1/2 of an empty shell. You're probably the same as me. You're watching the video and you're thinking you're seeing ones all over the place. That's probably because they are. We tend to work in different patterns. I normally go left and right across the tide. Sometimes if there's a lot of tide, I'd turn around and swim into the tide. But 9 times out of 10 we'll all have our own patterns. Matt and Paul swims quite far on a drift, and I tend to work an area rather than try and cover loads of ground. It's just the way I am. So I apologise if you're seeing them and you're shouting at the screen, you've just missed one, you've just missed another, because I probably have missed loads. But then again, we want to go scalloping another day, so we'll get it another day. I like them. It's time to head back to the surface. What I've done today is I've split my tank in half, so I've got 15 litres. Start off with 240 bar, normally breathe it down to about 130 bar on the bottom, and then I come back up, breathing roughly 10 bar with a safety stop, which leaves me 120 for the second dive. Looks like I'm hanging off my reel and my buff, but I'm not really putting any weight on it. So you notice we got McMahon reels, but we've got custom built aluminium back plates, because the original ones are plastic and they can't really support a load of heavy loads. Especially when you leave them on the boat in the sun, they get a little bit brittle. We've lost a couple of bags getting them on the boat and them snapping on us. So that's what we do. You got to customise some of your dive gear, just not the important stuff. That is so reassuring when you can see the boat above your head. And here's Richard. So I give 3 tugs when we're just about to come to the surface, just so he knows we're coming up, just as a bit of a safety, which is something Richard's made us do on the boat since we started. This is normally the time the handles snap on you, when it's about like this. It just takes the weight out and they snap in half. Here he is. I reckon he's got a full bag. Yeah, it's a heavy one. Oh yeah, hang on, Richard. Oh, that's too heavy. That's a winch sort of job, that one. Ooh, that was heavy.
just over half a ton.
Yeah. If we do that again, we'll be doing well. Thing is, you always dive places that you've dived before. We come here last week and we thought, that's it, we'll dive loads. There's going to be none left. But on that dive, they're literally everywhere. Everywhere. They're in like banks. You get like to where you see the tide with a bit of Ross gravel, and they'll be all in the line along that, parallel to the tide. Whew. Nice trickle of tide as well, eh? Just enough tide to take us along.
At the end.
At the end, yeah.
I'm glad I found you, because my hose had just caught.
Oh, is it? Yeah, yeah, well, it's just wrapped around a little bit.
It's funny, just like that tiny little bit.
Oh.
Notice it?
Yeah, if there's like an inch wrong with your hose, you notice it.
I can see your headlights in the distance.
I thought you hadn't turned your tank on or something. Whew. Get counter. The good thing is there's loads that are undersized as well. That is a lot.
It's not a bad bag.
That is a... And look how clean they are as well. Imagine Paul Main D was with us as well, and Jeff. We'll be doing the dozen again. Nice and clean. Be no sand inside them. Seaweed back in the sea. Making room. Bring some pots aboard. There's loads of dogfish in the pots at the moment. See how many dogfish we got in there, Matt? 5?
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 dogfish.
5? I think there's 5, yeah. It's 3 that side, one there and then one there.
Oh yeah, 5.
Back in again. Thank you. Okay. So we done 2 dives today. For scallops we were going to go on to shipwreck, but there was too much traffic. There was actually 3 condors in. We had the Voyage of the Liberation and the Goodwill on its way, so we decided not to get in their way and just go back and have another scallop.
Hey
not as good as the first time, but oh well. Doing the longest 3 minutes known to man. Your 3 minutes safety stop. 4 seconds left. It's normally 3 minutes at 5 meters. So it doesn't matter where you are on the sea. If there's a bobber with some pots tied to the end and the tide's pushing you, you will hit them. Don't know why, always happens. Completely open area and you always run into the pot line. And it is a little scary. Makes you jump when it comes alongside you. So calm. That's it. End of diving. That weren't too bad. I think Matt had 202 and I had something like had a 93 and a 42. So I was happy with that. See all the fishermen now sorting their catch out, getting it ready for market. Well, thanks for coming along, and if I don't see you again, happy Christmas to everyone and happy New Year. Hopefully we'll get out for one more dive, but this might be the last one of the year, so I'll say it now anyway, just in case. Okay, thanks for coming along and we'll see you. No, we won't see you, we'll catch you on the next dive.